If you're using AWS, there's one thing that keeps people up night, and that's unexpected bills. The good news is that you can just set up a budget alarm in just a few minutes that will notify you before your spending gets out of control. So let me show you in this video exactly how would you do it. But first things first, let's address this big elephant in the room that a lot of people ask me. And this is, can I set a hard limit on my AWS spending so services, for example, automatically shut down when you hit a certain amount? And unfortunately, AWS doesn't offer that. You can't set a hard cap that will just stop everything. But as I mentioned already at the beginning of this video, you can create a budget with alarms that will notify you when you're approaching your limit or when you exceeded it. And that's actually super useful because you will know then if something is costing more than expected. So let's actually get started on that. I'm already logged into AWS console of one of my learnings account, and here at the top right corner, we will go to billing and cost management. If you are logged in as a root or a user that has access to the billing, you will see those details. But if you are a regular user without access to billing, then probably you can see some undefined there, but still you should be able to create a budget. So scrolling here down on the left to the budgets, and now I have already one budget created here, but we will start fresh and probably you will not see anything here if you have a new account or this is the first budget that you are creating. So let me click create, and there are some options here. So use a template simplified, and that we will actually use in this particular video. Use the recommended configuration. You can change some configuration options after the budget is created, or this more advanced to set parameters specific to your use cases and so on, but that will be out of scope of this short video where we just want to set a basic budget. So we will use a template, and now below we have a zero spending, so notifies you once your spending exceeds even 1 cent. So that's something that you would probably use when you would be in some kind of a free tier that you don't want to use even a cent, but most probably you will use a monthly cost budget, and this is something that I actually use very often. So create a monthly budget that notify you if you exceed or are forecasted to exceed the budget amount. And about this forecasting, we'll actually talk in a bit. So let's do this monthly cost budget, and now we can do some kind of a name on it. So maybe my monthly budget, let's do it this way, and enter your budget amount. So whatever you would like to spend or would be notified on. So for example, $10, right? And now email recipients, that's very important because this is actually how AWS notifies you when this budget is exceeded or will be exceeded in the forecast. Separate email addresses using commas. So for example, briefly, or actually learn@briefly.dev, one of my email addresses for those learning things. So all AWS services are in the scope of this budget, so that's important. And the next thing, you will be notified when the first thing, your actual spend reaches 85%. The second one, your actual spend reaches 100%. And the third one, if your forecasted spend is expected to reach 100%. Those first two are actually quite self-explanatory, right? But the forecasted is actually quite a nice thing, because if AWS in the Cost Explorer will forecast you that within this month you are able to reach your budget or even exceed it, that will be another notification for you. Okay, so let's create it as it is, and now creating budget, and you can see my monthly budget is created. Budget is $10, and forecast for now is nothing and the amount is nothing, but you can actually see, and I will show you that right away. I had this my monthly cost budget here, which is running actually for some time already. And here you can see that this amount used is 62 cents and the forecast is also on the 62%, and you can see the current versus budgeted 12% here, and the more or less the same thing on the forecasted. And if I would get back here, I can even see some budget history here. You can see the current months. You can see that, maybe let it make it a little bit smaller for you, so you can see that this particular month, for example, right, in this particular month I was paying for a renewal of the domain. That's why it hit me so big, because I paid like 15 bucks for the domain, and this actually exceeded this threshold here. All right, so that will be it for this video, and here is a little bit of a takeaway, right, from this. Setting up this budget alert we took like 5 minutes, right? And I was talking a little bit throughout this video, but it can save you actually from some nasty surprises on the bill. So set your budgets, plug in your email or even emails, the comma separated one, and let AWS watch your spending for you. And remember, that's another takeaway, always stop or delete resources you're not actively using. And that's the best way to keep costs down. All right, that's it for this one. I hope you will go and set up your budget even right now, and I will see you in the next video.